Hey Black Circle family, and we are back for another episode, and today I have Kassandra Gordon with me today. And Kassandra is not just fine jewellery, it is visual cultural artist, and this is what I really like as well, the cultural alchemist. I love that. So with every story should I say, we start at the beginning. So yeah, tell me, can you talk us through where your passion for jewellery began?
Okay, so my passion, I didn't really know, but I had it, so it's a bit weird. I had that passion when I was 9 years old, where my mom gave me a gold locket, and my mom didn't have much money. She was on benefits, I know, but she saved it was solid gold. So I felt like when she gave me that meant love. And my mom is like proper Jamaican, so it's not the typical hugs and all that kind of stuff. So I realized in my life when I had the gold locket, when she gave me my Creole gold earrings, when I was 13, when I was 18, she gave me a cross. When I was finished my master's, she gave me a bracelet, and I felt like, wow, these are so cool things that she's passed down to me, and the passion of me just being aware of jewelry. So the awareness and then the making is two different things. So the making came in kind of very unpleasant circumstances. I was made redundant. It wasn't really a great process, so I wanted to do something fun. So I did a silversmithing course, and I just loved it since then. It was an evening course for 6 weeks, how to make silver jewelry, and I just loved it from then. So it's the awareness was first, and then the making came
after that. Amazing. And you touched on kind of your Jamaican heritage there, and so let's talk about that a little bit. So you kind of layer influences of British Jamaican culture and you manifest it in your jewelry design. So how do you do that?
I feel just naturally, just being a black one, I know it's a bit of a lazy answer, but it comes out because if I was going to be honest with you, when I started doing jewelry, I was rebelling against I guess black aesthetic or what was perceived as black aesthetic. I feel like being a black artist, being a black jeweler, there is sometimes a box that people put you in. If you don't do ankle, fist,
grills,
you're not seen as a black jeweler, right? Or even a jeweler. So my first collection was all about space. I purposely didn't even put my my face on the jewelry brand or anything, because I just wanted the jewelry to speak for itself. But as I got older, I realised, it doesn't harm to lean into your heritage. And as I get older, especially after the Windrush scandal, I feel like I really need to lean and really do research and archive and document. So you ask me how it goes into my jewelry. I'm always thinking for my own brand, when I make jewelry for myself, it's how does it reflect me? So even rings, what I'm wearing today.
I love this.
It's just bright. So I feel when I go to Jamaica, everyone's just bright, everyone's just ivory. So I think colour is a very strong point. I use a lot of lemon quartz, which is a bit of greeny yellow. I use blue, sometimes blue topaz, because of the sea, because I love the sea. And when I go to Jamaica, it's really blue. And I just feel anything what's warm, it rhymes with rum as well. So so colour is very important. And then sometimes I use I wear a lot of braids, so I sometimes incorporate braids on my design, and it's just part of my heritage. It's just come from Jamaica, get my hair braided by 3 different women and telling me stuff, telling me just and eating patty. So it just, the jewelry just lives through me and it comes through the design. So that's where I'm at.
And you said something interesting about you didn't want to put your face to the brand, and I wonder, was there something in the back of your mind that felt like maybe people would receive you differently if they knew it was a black woman behind this?
A little bit. So I had some advice about one. Actually, my first logo was at Aki. It was the inside of the Aki when you cut it open, and then this woman, she was white, and she would say, "Don't do that. People are not going to know what it is. Don't tell your heritage. Your name sounds white, so you might get more sales." That wasn't my intention to do that, but I thought, but now I just lean in, because I feel you attract the people you want in your life, right? So if I'm doing what I want to do, if I'm leaning in, sometimes I would dip out, not because I'm afraid of being black or Jamaican. It's just why can't I just other artists or jewelers do what I want to do? There'd be white woman called Sarah doing eggs and chips. And no one's going to be why do you do that? You should do eggs and chips and fish and chips for the rest of your life. They can literally talk about doing a bird or doing a cat for the whole career. and no one's going to talk about the English heritage, Scottish heritage, are they from Wales? You know what I mean? So I play with that. I just want to be at a stage in my life where I just do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And people who follow me, they'll come with me and they just accept me for who I am and what artistry I bring and the value I bring into their lives.
Resonates with you. And it's like you're saying, there's always this extra layer, isn't there, of like, we have to lead with our blackness, and there isn't anything wrong with that. But sometimes there is a bit.
It's
of
like
exhaustion.
a tax. It's like a tax. Yeah. It's really annoying. I remember, just on a side note, I went to this prestigious fashion, like it was supposed to be like you're supposed to program, and she looked at my jewelry and she said, "I can't see any of your heritage." I had cornrows on it.
Oh.
Exactly.
Okay.
I had cornrows on this piece. I had cornrows, and I won a really good jewelry design award for it. And she's like, "I can't see your heritage. I can't see it." And I thought, this is not the place for me. If you can't see or understand, because I think this person has this gaze of what blackness and her access point of what blackness is.
Right.
And if they were co-signed by other artists or co-signed by whiteness, so that was really, really that was one like very, very frustrating. And I just realised I'm never going to be in these type of institutions who just want one certain type of blackness. Do you want pain? Do you want overly Pan-Africanism? I can't.
They're trying to really fit you in a box, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's really, really tough. So I'm hoping like where people can see that I'm just doing whatever I want and people just follow. And I think it's working. It's been a journey. Let's just say that it's been a journey.
It is working. Like I've had a look at some of your stuff on your page, on your website, and it's just all beautiful, and it's all storytelling and exquisite and, like you said, colourful. So yeah, I think you are doing it. You're leaning in very authentically, which is amazing. And so yeah, we're talking about your pieces. So your pieces are described as modern heirlooms and meaningful stories. So can you share a story behind one of your favourite pieces?
So one of my favourite pieces, I know you're going to ask me that, and people will say you're killing babies here, like, but not metaphorical babies.
No,
metaphorical babies before anyone says anything. It depends. So I do two things. So if it's for my own one, it's one which I haven't really put on my website, but I get asked about it a lot and I make it bespoke. And then there's another one which I purely made for someone else, like commission. So so the one, I'm actually wearing it now, and it's not what people think is my favourite, but it is. It's the CEO ring.
Okay.
So I haven't put it on my website because I just thought this is for me, but it's realised it's got one of the most strongest reactions and people just buy it just off the cuff. And it's just like, I really believe like you are the author of your own life, your own destiny, right? So I'm the CEO of my life. Anything what happens, all the decisions I've made has led me here today.
Yeah.
And I have to really, really think about, what I do every day. So that really means a lot to me, of like transparency and also just being true. So that is for me, that is my thing. The thing what I made modern heirlooms for someone else is when we remodeled someone's grandma's ring.
Right. Yeah.
So we took the diamonds out and put it in a platinum, made a platinum wedding ring, and that's gone as an engagement ring. So it's just gone through generations, like someone's grandma's ring. You took out the diamonds, you reused it, you're saving the earth a little bit better. It's ethical, and then you repurposing it for something else, and that's going to carry on for generations. So I always think about that. I feel like jewelry is this object. It's relational to the body, and it can just go through time, the past, now, and the present. And it's going to outlive us. So I just feel, as you can tell, I'm very passionate about what is the story, because I think that, it lasts. It's like a legend. Like you have Arthur with the sword.
Yes.
Even from now, I don't know how that originates, but all I know, that story is like someone who took out the sword was very worthy.
You're right.
And we have that legend today.
Yes. Exactly.
So whoever was worthy to get that piece of jewelry, that will carry on. Might be Chinese whispers throughout the way, but that will live on. So
but that's how, like you said, legends, that's how it kind of starts. And like, oh, my great grandmother gave it to, or she survived the war and smuggled it there, and then it becomes, like you said, legend, which is amazing. Takes on a life of its own. It's brilliant to see. Definitely. So let's talk about the 3 C's of jewelry DNA. So we've got concept, culture, and connection. So can you expand on that and how they influence your work?
So culture, I'm always thinking about, whenever I do a piece of jewelry, how does it relate in the time of different people? So I'll give you an example. So I did a collection called Roots and Reggae, and I was thinking about people who have migrated here, have made a better life here. You know, the positive things about migration. I know timely last month it's not been great about migration, so I thought about that and how people might feel on the outside. So I was just thinking about cultural references like the Rinrush generation and how that inspired me to do that collection. So that's one way. So that's culture. I think I just talked about connections before. Relationships are very important. The thing what I love about making jewelry, especially bespoke jewelry for someone else, especially like an engagement ring, is like, I don't know that person. So if they're heterosexual, right, it's usually the guy comes in and we do detective work, and you know, the guys do a lot of, you know, this is probably like the biggest purchase I ever do, apart from like a house. So is the investment of designing or creating, and the monetary investment is very important. And imagine like I'm designing for someone I don't know, and then that person, they really like it, and then I meet them afterwards. It's like, I love that problem solving detective work. And then, you know, sometimes with that connections, like sometimes they invite me to their wedding, sometimes they invite me to engagement party.
Nice.
I see the kids. It's like a family, because I'm part of that journey as well. I'm obviously usually the first to know, you know, of this engagement, their family, this milestone. So I feel very honoured and I feel very sacred. So yeah, that is the journey. So yeah, this is for me, and if I make something, and sorry, I just lost, and I missed the second one.
So you said there was culture, connection, and then we also said concepts.
Sorry, that's what I was trying to round it, because I went in different order. So the concept, I do feel that there is a lot of fast fashion out there, and fast jewelry, where they just put things out, and does it on it. So as I said, starting from like, it kind of links with the culture, like, what is the main thing I want to say? What do I want people to connect with? The other collection what I did called Queen Energy. So the concept was for that was how to be a queen. And I know the Queen Dublin just died, RIP. But I think like people say, hey queen, and I was in LA once, so I said, hey queen. I was like, what does that really mean? How can I broaden it off on just saying it's just a hey queen? Like, I feel like every day you're just not promised tomorrow, right? So every day you should treat yourself like a queen to the high standard, and have your boundaries and make sure that you are shining. Absolutely. So I was thinking that even on days when there's rough and stuff like that, I'm like, I'm still a queen. I might not be in your eyes, but so if I have held myself high and tried to do the best thing I can on that day and live for today, that's how, like, queen energy. I want to have positive energy, and I just want to be a queen and respect that day and do the best way I can.
I love that. And that energy kind of like emanates outward.
And
it goes back to kind of like when I think about jewelry and when I put jewelry on, and when it's a really nice piece versus, like you said, fast fashion, it just kind of elevates your mood, and you just feel more special in it, you know, and you feel a bit more like careful and dainty and elegant. So that's the feelings that it evokes for me when I think of like fine jewelry. It's beautiful. And so I know we've been talking very slightly about kind of ethical jewelry, and so you do place quite strong emphasis on ethical jewellery and sustainable practices. So can you kind of discuss the steps you take to ensure your materials and process align with these values?
Cool. So for my own brand, it's about where I get my gold. So like Fair Mine Gold. So Fair Mine Gold, okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. The jewellery industry is very, very tricky. So I have to do a bit of a preface. It's like, I'll give you an example. If you own a t-shirt company, just say you do, and you would have a good way of looking at your supply chain, very good. You probably say, okay, the cotton is from, I don't know, Bangladesh, and you probably do a visit or not a visit, or you get certified there's like a good audit, And then you can do, when you're in the UK, you can do whatever you want with that piece of t-shirt. The thing what people don't know about the jewelry industry, there's a lot of there's a lot of moving parts in the supply chain before it even gets to the UK and have control. So it starts from the mine. Right. So for instance, like if you get your gold, it comes from a certain mine. Back in the day, it wasn't really great conditions. People use cyanide. You have to dig a lot to get to the ore, to get to the jewelry. To get to the gold. So I make sure that it's certified fair mine gold, which I use to make sure that there's no child labour.
Yeah.
They're all protected, and helping that kind of community, because people don't realise, like, when you take some of the manufacturing out of these communities, they collapse, and they've been doing it for years, and it's part of their artistry. So that's the gold bit. So gemstones are a bit tricky. I personally give a choice to my clients, especially when it comes to engagement rings. That's what I do mostly for bespoke. I tell them, if you want it certified, I can give it to you, and this is what it is. If you don't, this is the things. But at least I try to work with them, like, okay, maybe if you don't want that, try lab grown. If you have natural, these are the upsides. There's always a big debate right now, I don't even know, between lab grown and natural diamonds.
Yeah, I'm aware of it. And is lab grown, is it cheaper as well?
Yes, it seems to be cheaper. But people say it's ethical. It depends where you sit on the fence.
Okay.
Natural diamonds are like billions of years old, but the way how we get here is really sometimes hard to, say if it's in conflict or not.
Yeah.
Lab grown are usually somewhere in the Far East, made in like 3 weeks from like a bit of a diamond seed. They take a little bit of diamond and they grow it from there. But there's a lot of like environmental factors where people just pump lots of electricity to make these.
So it's still got an environmental.
Yeah, so it's just like you don't know. And I feel like with my younger customers, I say millennials and Gen Zs, they prefer the lab grown because you can get bigger. So when people on Instagram they can get closer to a carat. That's what people want to hear, especially girls or the women. Like, okay, what type of ring is it?
Yes.
A carat. That's all I want to hear.
This one is how big it is.
Yeah, just a carat, right?
Right.
So, what I'm saying to with my sustainability is like giving my clients an informed choice.
Yeah.
This is what I can give you. I can give you all I can. And also with the gemstones, if they're not diamonds, I really research into the place where it gets cut, where the mines are, who are the small artisanal families who have these gemstones, or I at least know the origin of where the gemstone is.
Right.
As I said, there's a lot of moving parts. Like if, for instance, for this like lemon quartz, you could go to make it up like Sri Lanka, and then there'll be one company who's farming all of the getting all this, and then there'll be another company who would be polishing it up, cutting it up so it looks like nice and shiny, and then it goes to the market, and then someone buys it from the market, and then eventually goes through customs, and it probably goes to Antwerp, and then it goes to the gemstone dealers here.
Right.
And then eventually that's when I see them, and then I really have to have these in-depth conversations, and they sometimes, I've been honest, these gemstone sometimes dealers can get quite arsey because they're like, why are you asking me all these questions? Because they're so used to just getting money.
Yeah. Just
like that, no one's asking. But we have to ask because it's integrity, because I want to feel confident when I'm talking to my customer. Well, I might not know, they might not have a certificate, but at least I know the origin. I know that it comes from this place.
Yes, exactly.
At least I can give them something. So the reason why I gave the t-shirt company, because people think it's so easy for a jewelry supplier. Unless I take a plane and I literally go to the country and I follow that person all the way through, it's nearly most companies, it's really hard to track.
It sounds like there's a huge trail, huge middlemen in between before
Lots
you even
of
get
middlemen.
to see it, which is really frustrating. And I really love that you're standing by the integrity side of it.
Yeah.
And I think more people need to kind of come forward with that. I don't know if you've seen on TikTok, there's a guy called Issa, and there's a famous jeweler in New York called Trax. And they're in like battle between each other because he's really calling him out on all his practices and his blood diamonds and how he's kind of exploiting what's going on in Africa and I think Sudan, it is, and it's insane. That,
no,
like,
I'm gonna do that. Let me.
Yeah, it's really worth looking into it. And he's just kind of, I think there's a type of gold that he's saying isn't blood diamond, but East really done his research, and it's so again we're just talking about the whole integrity of it and how people are really kind of like starting to call it out and the effects that it's having on the continent. It's just, when is there a time now where we can say like enough is enough, you know? So no. And also going back to the lab diamonds, can you tell the difference between the two of them?
In technically they are the same substance by eye, no.
Yeah,
by eye, no. But if people really want to know, you can always get it tested.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we're talking aesthetically for the common person, it's just
same.
Okay.
Same. It's technically is still a diamond. It's just the origin.
Right.
That is the difference.
And I know that we're talking about kind of like the 3 C's for you, but there are that I'm aware of. Was it color, clarity? I can't remember the other.
The 4 C's. Sorry.
Yeah.
I should know this off by heart. So color, clarity. Oh God,
I've forgotten. Yeah, I always forget the last one.
This is going to bother me.
Yeah,
the clarity is going to come. It's going to come.
But I'm always like, yeah, when my wedding ring.
No, it's going to bother me. Sorry.
Color, clarity, carrots. There we go.
That's it. I was like, what's that for? From? So how much it weighs? The carrot.
Yeah. So I'm always like, oh yes, when I get my wedding ring, I want to make sure all the 4 C's.
Yeah.
But let's move on a little bit. So we're talking about you, and you know, as a black woman in this space and taking up space and doing it proudly. So as a black woman in the jewelry industry, and you've kind of done a project with Kensington Palace. So how do you navigate your role and identity? And I know we've touched on this a bit, but let's talk about more of the importance of bringing representation to the space.
I think just turning up. I think I try not to go like, I'm this black woman. I just turn up and just be my authentic. I'm very, especially since 2020, I'm very intentional about what spaces I'm in. I'm very intentional who I'm talking to. I've turned down money. I've turned down partnerships because you're not just using me for a tip box. Make it clear you're not using me for a tip box. Those days are over for me. I've had a lot of like physiological, can't say the word, physiological? That's it, thank you. I don't know why I couldn't say that word. Debates with some people like, well, Kassandra, it's better to be in with the institution. And I'm like, okay, but how has it got you? And you're still doing the same thing. I'm not saying I haven't got far. I think, there's two sides to every coin, but I've tried being part of the institution or trying to work in the way in, and it's not that. So it's going to be hard, but I'm just trying to find my own way. So you're asking me like representation. I just want to produce really good work, have integrity, have a good reputation, and see if my jewelry, can transform lives. So I have like a social practice with my jewelry as well, hence the exhibition, what you probably talked about later. But I try to use jewelry in the best way as I can to reach more people and tell really good stories and try to transform lives.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I know there are some amazing women doing out there, but in this space, in kind of the UK, and the way that you make the jewelry and the storytelling is really unique to you. So it's really beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really beautiful. And yes, we are going to come on to your exhibit now. Yeah. So can you share some details on your upcoming Contours and Belonging exhibit and what the future plans are for the brand?
Cool. So Contours of Belonging. So I got some funding to this project where with my neighbours, people where I live in the London Borough of Redbridge. So I live in Ilford, where instead of me making jewelry for myself and living my best life, it's helping them to make some jewelry, also helping them to design jewelry, to feel like how do they relate to their place. Because I think sometimes with objects, we don't think about how we can use objects as like a primer to see how we are, like a snapshot of like how we relate to a certain place. So where we are now, how do we feel about North West London?
Right.
Because if you live around here, you know your interactions, you probably go rent to school here, you probably have family here, you probably meet your partner here, you probably do business here. All these little things make up your everyday, and jewelry, you wear it usually every day. So shouldn't there something to remind you about a milestone or something about who you are in this space where you live? Because we pay so much rent or so much mortgages to be here.
Yeah.
Why don't we think about how jewelry can, enhance or make more meaning to a place where you live than just being in a very transitional city? And for me, who's not from London originally,
I was going to say, I could hear a bit of an accent.
I lived in different places, so it's a long story. But I lived in Stoke-on-Trent, I lived in Birmingham, that's with the accent, Coventry, Liverpool, and now I'm here. I've always tried to make home, and jewelry is one space where I can make home. And through this project, it's like me and my neighbours who I live in the same town. How do we find home and identity in this multicultural place called Redbridge? So that's what happened. So in this exhibition, there'll be films, there's obviously the jewellery, and there will be like a book. I forgot, I should say that. I've been working on a book for like a year now. So there'll be a book. Yeah, it's the same thing, Contours of Belonging, Identity, Jewellery and Place. So that'll be out on the 11th of September, so that's coming really, really soon. So yeah, I'm very excited about it.
And the exhibit starts on the 11th as well.
It starts on the 11th.
And when does it finish?
The 14th of December. So
Okay,
it'll be out
so
for 3 months. Yeah. It'll be So I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, you should be. It's gonna be
and I just really want to just challenge people about jewelry, because jewelry is not just about when someone dies and you inherit. It's about, it lives with us. It's like so intimate. It's on the body. I know you have tattoos, not you personally, but people have tattoos, but it's the only object with relation to the body. So it's just very important. Like you take care of the jewelry will take care of you. And it's such a conversation piece as well, because people be like, oh, where'd you get this from? And I think there is a bilateral relationship. So you as the wearer, you have your relationship to jewelry, and then there's the interpreter, how you interpret the jewelry as well.
Yes.
So that needs to, I think those are interesting. So you see, like, yes, I care about the materiality of jewelry, but I'm really conscious of the concepts and the culture surrounding jewelry as well.
Yeah, kind of the deeper layers of it. I'm thinking about it now as we're talking, and I'm like, I remember kind of like all the different eras of jewelry even. So I remember being in college and having like the clown necklace or the sovereign rings, or kind of like, the earrings, the big hoops. And now everyone seems to have like smaller hoops. So it just, the way it changes and kind of like the nostalgia that jewelry can hold for you as well.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting thing to
it's
think
like an
back
archive.
on.
It's an archive, because like when you go in your phone, you got to go through all these pics and all that kind of stuff. But now you have a jewelry piece, you look at it like, that took me back to that place.
Yes.
That takes me to that person. So in this exhibition and the book, it explores, this jewelry takes me to my yard. This jewelry takes me to this park. How a relationship with the environment. Because I don't think so. I don't know about you, but I don't know where you live and you have to say, but it's like, do you think about, okay, how's my connection to this town? How much people do I meet? Am I really investing in my community? When am I investing? Am I really chatting to random people? Am I really trying to make friends? Do I have my interests? Do I have my hobbies in this area of where I live?
It's very, I think a lot of us are very insular.
Yeah.
And we're very like buying into this individualism.
Yes.
Which is kind of scary, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we need to, and I think what you're doing through this is you're challenging that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly that. So I just want to briefly touch on kind of like your future plans for the brand as well.
Sorry. So my future plans, last year I went to America, I did New York Jewelry Week, I went to Chicago, I went to LA. So I think a lot of my audience and people who like what I do and I get like American orders are there. Mm-hmm. So I want to really go into America. For the brand, I just want to use more colour, like colour for my own designs. I feel like for some designs I've been a bit conservative. I'm like, but now I'm just going to go all out. I just don't care. I'm at the point where I'm like, I do what I like. If you like it, you like it.
Yeah.
If you rock with me, you rock with me. If you rock with the brand, you rock with the brand. So I'm just really excited to experiment with more colours, more gemstones and more like bigger designs.
Brilliant. I love that. Well, we're about to wrap up, but I always like to ask my guests at this point values. So let's start for a value for your professional life.
Okay, I think I'll repeat about 10 times, but like integrity means a lot to me. So please don't lie to me. I know everyone lies, but like I'm a person where if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it and try to do my highest degree. Yeah. And if I can't, I'll tell you straight up that I can't do it. I'm a bit all or nothing. Like I'll do it or I can't do it. That's really means a lot to me, and that's how I built up the customer base. Especially when you're doing fine jewelry, you know, it's very important to keep to your word and promises.
That and setting boundaries, right, for yourself. Mm-hmm. And for your personal life,
devotion. So the devotion value is like I'm reflecting on this year. I think that it's a life, like this year's is this weird because of the exhibition. I'm going to get married soon, all this kind of stuff. So I'm in this like reflective mode. I want to be more present. I think I've been grinding so much.
Yeah.
The hustle.
Yes.
And I just want to say that I don't get no investment from my jewelry. I'm hustling. I forgot even to say to you, I've started with jewelry just working with beads because I couldn't go straight to fine jewelry and just buy gold and buy diamonds just like that. I started with beads. I went to silver. I went to demi-fine, like gold vermeil, gold plated, and then I went to gold and platinum. It was a gradual, painstaking journey because I have no investment. A lot of jewelry brands, which you know, have pure investment.
Yeah.
Or rich husbands. So you know, I have a devotion now of like, hopefully with my artistry I can just devote and be present and just be the best what I can and produce the best what I can and just be consistent with that. So devotion is the word for me now.
Beautiful. I love that. I love that word, devotion. Cassandra, what a pleasure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you
so much. And I appreciate you and just showing up and being in the space and representing. So yeah, thank you so much. And if people want to follow your journey, where can we find you?
Cool. So my name starts with a K.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Not a C.
No, C. So it's so on Instagram, Kassandra Gordon London. I also, my website is www.kassandragordon.com. Instagram, LinkedIn, just say hi. Follow me there. Follow my stories there. I'm on TikTok, but I need to. It's the same thing. It's that so one thing I need to do this year is sort out my TikTok.
Yeah.
I've got like 1,000 followers, but I need to grow that because I feel like I can tell better stories there. Because I think Instagram sometimes you have to be more curated. I've got to put on the makeup and all this kind of stuff.
It's long.
But if I'm on TikTok, I feel like I can really reach people and bring that authenticity and realness to what's happening in jewelry.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again. And guys, thank you for tuning in. And if you want to follow The Black Circle, we too are on Instagram at blackcircle.podcast, YouTube, The Black Circle Podcast, Spotify, all that good stuff. Like, follow, subscribe, share. Until next time, bye.